Live with clickorlando.com and streaming on News 6 Plus. This is News 6 Mornings at 6. Getting results.
My street is a river of ice.
Wow, unbelievable there. Powerful storms again bringing large hail to our area, leaving damage behind. We're live with one of the hardest hit neighborhoods as we pinpoint the threat for more severe storms today.
Plus, the state now facing a lawsuit in its battle with Disney, why the company's taking the governor and his newly appointed oversight board to court.
And SpaceX set to try again tonight to get a powerful rocket off the ground. What's on board the Falcon Heavy and why people on the coast may hear sonic booms minutes after liftoff. But we do want to start with the timeline for the next round of storms. Good Thursday morning to you, Central Florida. The time now 6 a.m. I'm Justin Wormuth.
I'm Crystal Moyer. Thanks for waking up with us.
I'm Bridget Ellison. Trooper Steve's watching your roads. Meteorologist Troy Bridges has your pinpoint accurate forecast. Round 3.
Yeah, round 3 once again today. Now, yesterday, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, meteorologist Candace Campos, chief meteorologist Tom Sorrells, all here around the clock showing you that we would see these storms well in advance. Of course, I told you all morning, and it happened. Again, as Bridget just said, round 3 is today. So we're warning you again. Of course, we're not trying to hype it up because it's actually happening. If you've been outside at all or if you've seen any of the video, you know there's no hype here. This is actually going to happen once again. Today, though, we're going to start it a little later, and we've got a front way out west that will actually move in late tonight. So we're going to have a couple of rounds of these storms to deal with. So a different setup today compared to yesterday. Between 3 p.m. and 11 p.m., the chance for those high winds, heavy rain, lightning, and yes, hail. Hail will be a big concern once again late in the afternoon. So let's take you through the future. We are dry today, dry for now, and dry through the noon hour. But look at this. By 3:30 this afternoon, not so much severe, but a few pop-up showers at that point. And then boom, by 4 p.m., the risk for those stronger severe storms just to the west of I-4 and then along I-4 pushing from west to east, impacting our eastern zone. So there you go. By 6 p.m., we see the chance for the strongest of the storms, and that will be for Flagler County, stretching all the way through Volusia County, inland Volusia County, Deltona, DeLand, over to Daytona Beach, many of our coastal zones in Volusia County, and then on through areas of Seminole County, East Orange County, including downtown Orlando, Christmas, Bithlo, and then down into Mico and Melbourne. Coming up, we'll take you through that risk of severe weather hour by hour in your community. But first, let's check on the roads and head over to traffic safety expert Stephen Montiero.
Trooper Steve's Pinpoint Traffic Report is brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
Thank you, Troy. Yeah, you guys were pretty spot on yesterday. And then I hopped on YouTube with Jonathan Kegas yesterday, trying to track it. And it's amazing. Some people were like, well, nothing's happening here. Well, that's a good thing, guys. If nothing's happening in your community, they've got to focus on where that hail is. Like we said, that was pretty historic stuff that we got to see yesterday. Maitland Boulevard, east and westbound, still clear this morning. If you're headed out by Universal Studios, nice and smooth, too, as you continue to head south on Kirkman towards I-4. Crash I talked about just a few minutes with you over at OBT and Cayley. They've cleaned that up, so you won't even know it was there. Downtown Orlando looking pretty good. Brevard County still nice and smooth. Even south Palm Bay, I-95, no issues. There's no more ice out there. Just make sure we're consciously driving safe. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Steve. As Troy's been telling us, strong storms could cause problems in Central Florida for a 4th straight day. And this morning, we're getting a closer look at large hail yesterday in Brevard County, just part of the latest round of severe weather to hit our area. Mark Lehman is live in Melbourne right now. And Mark, this storm caused some damage.
Yes, and right now we're in a mobile home community. This area is where there were reports of roofs lost, along with a shed and carport destroyed. A lot of spots were hit hard by Wednesday's storms. This, as there were reports of damage in several communities in southern Brevard County.
Thank you, Mark. And if you want a good idea of just how much hail came down, take a look at this. This is the courtyard at Central Middle School in West Melbourne. It looks more like a scene that you'd see up north after a few inches of snow. Don't worry, parents. The school posted there's no anticipated snow day. And it wasn't just Brevard County. We're waiting to find out if anyone was hurt after storms caused damage at a mobile home park in Marion County. This was the scene last night at the Arrowhead campsites and mobile home park right near I-75 and US 27. We saw trees down on at least 2 campers, and initially several crews were dispatched over worries people may have been trapped. As soon as we get any updates from authorities, we will let you know. Now, many of you sent us your own video of yesterday's wild weather. We'll have that part of the story coming up at 6:30. And as Troy's been telling us, our threat for severe storms continues today. So now is the time to make sure you have the Pinpoint Weather app on your phone. We will send out alerts anytime severe weather moves into your location. You can also check the live radar anytime. Just search WKMG in your app store to download the app for free.
Now to major developments in the battle between Disney and Governor DeSantis. Central Florida's largest employer now suing the state along with the new board appointed to oversee Disney special districts, setting the stage for a high-profile legal battle. Ezzy Castro has been following the developments and joins us live from Disney. And Ezzy, the company says the governor's recent moves are purely political.
Yeah, so Disney officials claim that this is all part of campaign of retaliation. They also say that the state's actions threatened business operations. Now, this lawsuit was actually filed just minutes after the new board met yesterday.
A bill calling for tougher penalties for hate groups who harass people for their religion or ethnicity awaits the governor's signature. State lawmakers passed the public nuisances bill. It was filed after a string of anti-Semitic messages across Florida, including flyers and billboards, along with direct threats toward the Jewish community and local officials. The proposal would make these acts felonies and had bipartisan support in the legislature. If the governor signs the bill, it will take effect immediately.
SpaceX plans to try again tonight to launch its powerful Falcon Heavy rocket from our coast. The rocket remains on the pad at the Cape after the company called off last night's launch attempt. It will carry a new communication satellite into orbit. In just minutes after liftoff, the rocket's twin boosters will come back down for a dual landing, so you may hear a sonic boom. Tonight's window opens at 7:29, and if it happens, we'll bring it to you live on News 6, clickorlando.com, and the free News 6 Plus app. But turning to our pinpoint accurate weather, Troy.
Not going to hear it.
Not likely.
Nope, not going to hear a boom. You're going to hear a boom, all right. But it's going to be from some lightning and thunder, and it may also be from some hail. That's not good news, but that's what we're in for again today. Now, here is some good news as we talk about the bus stop forecast. We're going with an A this morning as we grade the forecast because we're good and dry. This afternoon, warming into the mid-80s, a high of 85. We're going with a C rather than an F because that onset of the stronger severe storms will be later in the day, around 4, 5 o'clock on into 6 o'clock tonight. So after school activities, certainly an inconvenience, but even more than that, this is going to be the chance for strong to severe storms, but not so much at bus stop time at 3 p.m. Let's check on the roads now and head over to traffic safety expert Trooper Steve. His Pinpoint Traffic brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
I'm a big guy when it comes to warnings and stuff. You guys, I appreciate you, Troy. You guys and your team, you know, being an outside, I still consider, been here 6 years, but I don't come from this background. And people do need to pay attention because when it starts falling from the sky, you want to know what's going on.
And I think after the last few days, people do have more of a heads up.
I agree
People are
with
paying
you.
attention.
Well, because the graphics behind you are perfect.
Scary stuff.
Sky 6 is just cruising along right now. They were headed towards OBT and Kaylee just to confirm that that crash was gone. It is all gone. So we're cruising pretty nicely this morning. They're headed westbound along I-4 right now towards the tourist district. And right now here, this is I-4 Champions Gate. Not that crazy this morning. We're actually doing pretty good. Eastbound, routine delays. All your lanes are open. And then Champions Gate running pretty smooth too. A little further east there, guess what? Hunters Creek, you're good to go now. OBT at 417 is open, but keep in mind, that closure is going to happen every weekday this week. Well, only 2 more days. Guys, back to you.
All right, Trooper Steve, 6:11 coming up. Keeping up with record volume at Port Canaveral.
The price tag for a proposed expansion of cruise terminals and how soon it could happen.
Plus, a large gator caught in a driveway. What neighbors tell News 6 about this struggle in the middle of a local community.
But first, a major step in the debate over the nation's debt ceiling. The bill Republicans are pushing forward and why Democrats say it will not reach the president's desk. You're watching News 6 Mornings, getting results for your Thursday. We'll be right back.
Duty means service before self. I'm motivated every morning to fight for safety, for awareness, because it's 100% avoidable. To help save people. I am so blessed to protect this Central Florida that I love.
The young student pilot in crisis and the dad who guided her down, together for the first time. Next in Sun Edition.
Tonight at 7:30 on News 6. Live with Bridget Ellison, Justin Warmoth, Crystal Moyer, meteorologist Troy Bridges, and your traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. This is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
A big move by Republicans in the U.S. House. They have passed a bill to raise the nation's borrowing limit, but Democrats are warning it is dead on arrival in the Senate.
Investigators in Seminole County are working to figure out what caused the fire, leaving a mobile home badly damaged. The fire department posted photos to Twitter yesterday here showing smoke and flames off Osceola Road in Geneva. Crews were able to get the fire out, but as you can see, there were 2 large holes left in the roof of the home. This is footage from Sky 6. So far, there are no reports of injuries.
State health officials have given the all clear for swimmers near the popular Cocoa Beach Pier. We first told you late last week about the swim advisory after traces of fecal bacteria were found in the water. Leaders say it may have come from stormwater runoff, pets, wildlife, or human sewage. The latest samples, though, show acceptable levels of bacteria.
Now to a tug of war between a gator and wildlife handlers in the middle of a neighborhood. A homeowner in the Villages shared this video showing the struggle in the driveway, and this is a big one. People living nearby say it wasn't the first time they saw this gator roaming. And a reminder, it's gator mating season, which typically lasts until summer. But, you know, leave it to the professionals.
Yeah, definitely.
Do not, you know, get involved.
Not sure if
He's not going without a fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that guy's had any luck, though. That looked like frustration.
Right, he looked a little frustrated. Yeah, he hasn't found love. Looking for love in all the wrong places. You know, we are looking for more storms later today. We don't want it, but we could use the rain, and we'll take that, but not the hail. The hail risk is there, though. But here you go. Today, a little bit of a different setup because we have a later onset of some of these storms. Remember yesterday, about this time, we were showing you this same map, talking about that risk. On a scale between 1 and 5, we were only at a 1 the day before yesterday, that marginal risk, and we had all those storms with hail in the Four Corners area. Yesterday, this time, we had pretty much this setup where a large part of Central Florida was included in that updated number 2 risk. On a scale between 1 and 5, it was a 2. Then at 9 in the morning, it was upgraded to an enhanced risk, which was a 3 on a scale between 1 and 5. So we could see that happen again. Our main threats, here is your hour-by-hour forecast. And as we take you through it, a high today of 85 with a 60% coverage of rain, mainly after 3. Here's the 7-day forecast. As we get results, rain chances staying high at 60% on Saturday and a high near 90. Let's check on the roads and head over to traffic safety expert Trooper Steve. His Pinpoint Traffic brought to you by Naples Automotive.
I got to be honest, I'm very grateful that we are not experiencing that weather during the morning commute.
People driving in. Ooh.
Yeah, it can get pretty nasty and stuff. So right now, Sky 6 is out there. 2 indicators. 1, weather's good, and 2, they're cruising. So they're not on top of anything, which is real nice. Seeing those routine delays eastbound over in the attractions area. So your drive times this morning, Kissimmee to downtown, I'm talking Osceola Parkway, right in the heart of all those attractions there. 18 minutes to downtown, that's Colonial, and then 15 if you're coming in from Lake Mary. That's nice. OBT back open. Quick zoom out here so we can check out southern portions of the Florida Turnpike. I'm talking 192 south on the Turnpike, passing the Old Canoe Creek Service Plaza, Kissimmee Park Road, and then continuing all the way down to State Road 60, nice and clear. Brevard County, I-95 here at 528, running pretty smooth between State Road 50 out in the Christmas area and down towards 520. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Steve. President Biden answering questions about his future.
At the bottom of the hour, his message to voters concerned about his age as he plans to seek re-election.
First, though, a surge in complaints from airline travelers. The top issue and which airlines rank the worst. Up next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by the Flooring Center.
To everyone, it was just another case, and you looked at us like another family. I trust Channel 6.
Still to come, a local district coming close to choosing its new superintendent.
And what's next for the finalists just hours from now?
Plus, another round of hail falling in Central Florida. We're live with the latest damage and when even more storms could come our way.
Get the latest news, weather, and more from the News 6 Plus streaming app. Download the News 6 Plus app from the Android TV App Store today. Live, this is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
Wild weather strikes again with hail pelting homes, cars, and businesses, and more is on the way today. Troy's Pinpoint accurate forecast is straight ahead.
Plus, a new twist in the ongoing dispute between Governor DeSantis and Disney. The theme park company now suing the state, what they're alleging after speaking out against a controversial law.
A local school district gets closer to selecting a new leader. The interview set for today as Brevard County searches for its new superintendent. Good morning, Central Florida at 6:30. I'm Bridget Ellison.
I'm Crystal Moyer. Thanks for staying with us on this Thursday.
I'm Justin Warmouth. Let's get right over to meteorologist Troy Bridges and his pinpoint accurate forecast.
Oh yeah, got a great idea here for all the folks who want to get some exercise in, maybe a workout in. Either go early today, even through the lunch hour, because we're looking good and dry at that point. Or try to do it inside. If you can, inside, maybe at home, do some workouts, push-ups, sit-ups, that kind of thing, because I know a lot of folks do want to get that run in. Not this afternoon, not a good day to do it once again. But first, let's check on the roads and head over to traffic safety expert Stephen Montiero.
Trooper Steve's Pinpoint Traffic Report is brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
You know, I'm watching your clock, right? And I'm like, uh-oh, we have a mutual friend I'm helping move today.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I'm supposed to meet at 3:30.
Not a good time.
And I'm watching that clock, and I'm like, oh.
Postpone it. Maybe Sunday.
I'm going to have to give him a call and be like, hey, let's do this later. So downtown, looking great this morning. This is at Cayley, City Beautiful, off into the distance there. Nice skyline, nothing crazy, but it looks good this morning. No issues there. Now, I do have a disabled vehicle stalled out, causing an issue here at Orange Avenue in Michigan. You can see a little bit of a northbound delay there in the city. OPD should be there soon to clear this out. Guys, back to you.
A dangerous scene in parts of Central Florida as neighborhoods again get pelted with wind, rain, and hail that covered yards so much it looked like it'd been snowing. And as Troy's been telling us, another round of severe, inconvenient weather could roll through again today. And it comes as we get a better look at just how much damage was done in yesterday's storms. News 6's Mark Lehman joins us live from Melbourne now. Things got rough there, Mark.
Late last night, the National Weather Service says they got a report of extensive damage to a mobile home community with trees down and roofs ripped off of some homes. It comes after some scary moments yesterday afternoon, large chunks of hail coming down as the storm pushed through.
Thank you, Mark. And the weather was dangerous for first responders, too. Check out this video posted by firefighters out of Melbourne. They were dispatched to reports of a possible tornado touchdown. Then they had to drive through this. Roads covered in ice, and it looks more like a scene from up north. Many of you also shared your videos with us through the News 6 Pennant page, and we want to see more. You can get there right now by scanning the QR code on your screen. John Hurley shot this video from inside West Melbourne. Just look at the hail coming down. And viewer Jay Holstein pinned this video on our News 6 app showing hail coming down in buckets. Yikes. Remember, you can scan that code, send us your pins from your area. You can also get to the Pennant page by using the News 6 mobile app.
Just unreal. People in Lake County also had to deal with the storms yesterday. Just one day after hail hit homes and businesses there, the ice got to baseball size in some spots. Officials in Groveland say they took over a dozen calls related to the storm, most for lightning strikes, downed power lines, and trees.
Some breaking news now. Governor DeSantis has just delivered a speech in Israel marking the 75th anniversary of the country's independence. The governor touted the great relationship the U.S. has with Israel and the steps he's taking to combat crimes against Jewish people.
In Florida, we treat anti-Semitism the way we treat racism. And so if it's not appropriate to attack someone on the basis of their race, which is not, it should not also be okay somehow to engage in anti-Semitic tropes.
The governor's speech in Israel is part of a four-country overseas trip, which began earlier this week in Japan. Meantime, back here at home, the governor's ongoing dispute with Disney is heading to court. The company is suing the state and its newly appointed Tourism Oversight Board, claiming they're being illegally targeted after speaking out against the state's parental rights and education bill. Ezzy Castro has been going through the lawsuit. She joins us now live outside Disney. And Ezzy, the governor's office is already striking back.
So we learned that one of the lawyers on the lawsuit is actually a well-known California attorney who has handled a high case for Disney before and even at one point represented former President Donald Trump. Live outside Walt Disney World, Ezzy Castro, going to Results News 6.
Troy, we've been talking all morning about that storm damage and just some shocking videos coming in even out of Brevard, and we could be in for more stormy, inconvenient weather in the forecast today.
We told you all day yesterday we would have hail. We knew it was going to happen, and it happened. And today we're telling you again, we're going to have that risk for hail. Now, I know you got to pick up the kids from after-school activities, maybe from daycare a little bit later today. I'm talking about 4 or 5 o'clock tonight. Not a good time. And first, let's check on the roads and head over to traffic safety expert Trooper Steve His Pinpoint Traffic brought to you by Napleton Automotive, and you've got a way to keep safe, at least your car, your property safe from that hail.
Especially in those eastern portions that Troy's talking about along the coast. If you don't have a carport or a garage or anything like that, a simple thick comforter you can just throw on there, clamp it down to your vehicle. The issue is here is windshield. Obviously, you can get some damage and your car's going to be fine, but that visibility and making sure that that car stays contained is kind of the key here. This was submitted. This is Goose, our photojournalist. He did this yesterday, just in case, seeing some stuff out in Seminole. Good thing things paid off for him. Right now, I-4 looking good out by the convention center. No issues here. Drive times there along Cayley are nice and smooth. We're seeing some delays at Michigan and Orange for a disabled vehicle. But if you're headed towards the airport right now, 436 Cimarron, north and southbound, pretty much everywhere looking good. And then 528 also up to speed. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. And Trooper Steve will be back in just a few minutes to answer one of your questions.
Coming up, dangerous driving in the weather.
Plus, President Biden addressing a big concern about his re-election campaign, the message he has for voters worried about his age.
This portion of the news is sponsored by the new Epic Pepperoni Stuffed Crust Pizza, only at Papa John's.
You're a good station, you've got nice people working there, and you report the news the way it is. Very pleased with the results you got.
Live with Bridget Ellison, Justin Warmoth, Crystal Moyer, meteorologist Troy Bridges, and your traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. This is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
Just about 6:45, time for Ask Trooper Steve, where we answer the questions you send in. And Steve, today we're talking about something pretty timely, driving during a hailstorm.
Yeah, I hijacked today's ATS just because I had so many questions about it. So this is what we're talking about. Yesterday, storms were crazy. Any heads up when encountering a wall of ice? And that's exactly what happened along I-95 yesterday. In my entire traffic law enforcement career, Justin, I never seen anything like this. Yeah, that hail was coming through. Cars just came to a complete stop. Looks like snow there on the side of the road. Now, there's no set textbook for what to do when running into ice here in Florida, but everything plays a role in it too. So you need to be careful. Obviously, when driving out in this weather, you should have known that it was inbound. My biggest thing that I'm preaching right now is if you can't see, you need to feel. So what I mean by that is, as you approach this, the too fast for conditions law plays into role here. Start to slow down. Hang out in that right travel lane and get off the highway as soon as possible before visibility becomes zero. Now, out on the highway, the infrastructure there, we have these things called rumble strips. Rumble strips are designed, one, their purpose is to make sure you stay awake, all right? As you're cruising out there, if you're leaving your lane, that thud starts to happen, kind of wakes you up. But you can also use that to feel your way off of the travel lanes out there. So you start to move to the right, you feel that rumble strip, feel it again, pull over, stop driving in these conditions, and stay in your car. Do not get out in this ice. It's not going to work out too good.
Some good tips. Thank you, Steve. And if you have a question for Trooper Steve, you can let him know on our website. Just head to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve. The coronation of Britain's King Charles III is just over a week away, and Legoland Windsor Resorts has created 2 new scenes of the upcoming events. There are miniature versions of the King as well as Camilla, Queen Consort, the royal carriage. Wow. Even the King's crown.
I love it.
There's also a scene depicting the coronation concert at Windsor Castle. The official coronation will take place next Saturday, May 6th.
Like, if they sell the sets, my kids would love to have one.
Right? But I want it already put together.
Well, that's the one that you, like, keep in the corner and nobody touches.
And then, like, glue it together.
Exactly.
Somehow, How much work did that take? That was a lot of work. Well, today we are pinpointing storms. Once again, we're going to have that risk of severe storms. It does mean that we're going to have that chance for hail once again. And we have a later onset today, really after 3 p.m., but especially around 5 p.m. drive time is when we'll see that chance for some big storms right along I-4. I'm going to show you a future radar. But large hail possible, 2 to 3 inch hail, also damaging wind at 60 miles per hour or greater. Early preps would be to put that car under the shelter as soon as you can. If not, cover it with those thick blankets like Trooper Steve just showed. Now here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health.
We warm into the mid-80s today. That coverage of rain up to 60%, again, around 5 p.m. Here is the 7-day forecast. As we get results, you'll see rain chances at 70% Friday, 60% Saturday, highs in the upper 80s for Saturday. Let's check on the roads and head over to traffic safety expert Trooper Steve. His Pinpoint Traffic brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
Downtown, looking good this morning. This is I-4 out by Ivanhoe. You have Ivanhoe off to the right-hand side, College Park way off to the left-hand side. This is Fairbanks that we're coming over right now. No issues in the downtown area. DOT cam showing on a ground level, same thing. So we're moving pretty good. Your drive times this morning, 19 minutes from Kissimmee to downtown, still sitting at a nice 15. If you're coming in from Seminole County, now Michigan and Orange Avenue, this disabled vehicle causing some northbound delays there. Hopefully we can clear this out soon. It's not red or orange, just a slight slowdown there. And then 528 east and westbound towards Narcoossee, the Lake Nona area, nice and clear. Brevard, you guys are still looking good, but like Troy has mentioned all morning, this afternoon is going to be completely different. So make sure you have your weather plan in place this afternoon. So when you're out there commuting, you know what kind of conditions are going to be out there, so you know what you can handle. Further north there, Titusville looking good, US 1 and 95 running parallel with each other. And then Geneva, nice and clear there. One last check into Seminole here at Longwood, 1792, running through Winter Springs and Longwood. Nice and smooth. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Parts of Central Florida again dealing with damage from wild weather.
And even more could be on the way. An update next as we check our big stories.
You deserve to hear the best. That's why News 6 has partnered up with Mix 105.1. Listen to your pinpoint weather updates on Mix 105.1 while we pinpoint your weather on the go. Some teams are just better together.
6:54. Let's check our big story, starting with Troy and another risk for severe storms this afternoon and tonight.
Yeah, today a little bit of a different setup, a later onset starting at around 3 p.m., but especially through 5 p.m. That risk of heavy rain, lightning, strong wind, and even hail. We'll be pinpointing it carefully. A high today in the mid-80s. That coverage of rain by 5 going up to 60%. Mark.
People in parts of Brevard County are cleaning up after getting hit hard from yesterday's storm. So much hail fell in Palm Bay and Melbourne. It looked like ice had been on the ground and had been snowing. The ice, along with wind, is also being blamed for causing some damage to things like pool enclosures and fences. And we got some new damage reports overnight. I'm looking into that right now. We'll have an update on News 6 at 9. Ezzy?
And the feud between Disney and Governor Ron DeSantis is now headed to court. Now, yesterday, Disney Parks and Resorts sued the governor and the new oversight board he appointed. The company says it's been the victim of a targeted campaign of government retaliation, all because the company spoke out against Florida's parental rights in education law. The lawsuit was actually just filed minutes after the new board met yesterday to void Disney's development rights during a meeting. Crystal.
As in meantime, breaking overnight, the governor is in Israel. He spoke at an event commemorating the 75th anniversary of Israel's founding and his long track record of support for the U.S.-Israel alliance.
And the 3 remaining finalists for superintendent in Brevard County are set to be interviewed by the school board this morning. It's all ahead of a final vote of choice next month. Trooper Steve.
All right, look, if you're out on the coast and going to be expecting some of those storms today, you need to be careful and make sure that you're parked your car underneath an overhang. If you're not, throw some blankets on top of that thing and it will help you out. As of right now, though, I-4 moving pretty good this morning, east and westbound, not seeing any issues anywhere. So use this time this morning to get to work safely. And of course, plan for your weather encounter later this evening. Please just make sure we're driving safely.
And take that blanket off before you drive.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's good advice.
Thanks for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories and podcasts on our News 6 Plus app for your TV.
Hope you have a great day.
Get the most out of News 6 with our Insider newsletter. Sign up to be an insider today at clickorlando.com/insider.